Martin Lewis, founder of Money Saving Expert, thanks for joining us. It is potentially confusing, isn't it? Because partially the court today seems to have sided with the lenders, and yet payouts are still going ahead.
Yeah, it's important to understand there are two main strands of car finance mis-selling. One the court was dealing with, one the court wasn't dealing with, but was on hold awaiting the Supreme Court decision. Now, the one it wasn't dealing with is actually the one most people have complained about, which is discretionary commission arrangements. That's where, if you got a PCP or HP deal before January 2021, when they were banned, the car dealer or broker could have increased your interest rate without telling you in order to get more commission. The one the Supreme Court was looking at is far less complained about, but potentially could have reached more people if the Supreme Court had upheld it. Now, you're only likely to be paid out if you had a discretionary commission arrangement or if the commission was manifestly unfair. And the example they gave of that in the Supreme Court was that an excessive amount of commission, 55% of the cost of the finance being commission, coupled with the marketing literature implying that you would be given a choice of different car finance firms, but you weren't actually given a choice. And putting those two together, it said was unfair. But that's going to be far fewer people than it was thought were available in the Supreme Court cases.
It's possible that people attracted by all of this high-profile publicity today will think, oh, I'll start a claim. Tonight you've got an urgent warning, haven't you?
Nobody should be doing anything right now. You need to sit on your hands. While you may have a claim, we are potentially going to see the regulator launch a redress scheme that means you do not have to put in a claim to get your money. So if you were to sign up to a claims firm on the back of this news, there is a chance you could get money paid to you, and then the claims firm could ask for 25% of it, even though it's done nothing. People, I'm afraid, I know it's gone on a long time, but they need to be patient. I'm sorry for saying wait again, but it is the sensible thing to do.
Tonight, millions will be asking, when are we going to get our money? This has been dragging on for years. What have you discovered about how this compensation scheme might work?
Well, in terms of discussions I've had with the regulator before, when it was looking at how it could do this, if it's going to put a redress scheme in place, I mean, it could potentially be an automatic payout system. In other words, you could get the money without asking for it if you had discretionary commission arrangements, which is why no one should be signing up for a claims firm on this, because it then could take 25% of the money without doing anything. And I think if that does happen, we're probably looking at payouts coming by the end of the year. But we do have to wait to see exactly what the redress scheme will be. But I would think now we have the Supreme Court ruling, we need to have some transparency and some consistency. The regulator must do that on discretionary commission arrangements and on unfair commission arrangements. And I would like to see that happen by the end of the year. And I think there is a decent chance of that.
Tonight, some people are saying that the Supreme Court has sided against the interests of customers. I know that you feel very strongly that's not the case.
No, I'm not going to cast aspersions on the Supreme Court judges. I think they're looking at what the law was. The real surprise was that the Court of Appeal sided with consumers on these technical cases. And if I am straight, then I have had concerns about the Supreme Court case because at its extremes, we could have seen car finance firms going bust. Now, there's no financial services compensation scheme on car finance. If they went bust, all the people who were actually owed compensation on the discretionary commission arrangements wouldn't have got it. And more, it could have stopped most consumer lending in the country at its extreme and could have been an impact on the economy. So this was nowhere near as simple as the Supreme Court has shafted consumers by not upholding all these events. There was balance to be had. And where we are actually now is the more manifest unfairness in car finance complaints about discretionary commission arrangements and unfair commission. They look like I hope they will go ahead. If they don't go ahead, then I'll be up in arms.
Martin Lewis, founder of Money Saving Expert, thank you for your time and as usual for your insights.